Hi and welcome. My name is Sam, so welcome to my channel. This is Sam Meads Reads, and yeah, I just wanted to introduce myself today, do a quick short introductory video for my channel, tell you what it's going to be about. Obviously with the name Sam Meads Reads, it's going to be a booktube channel, so we'll be mainly talking about books, what I'm reading, what I'm going to read, what I've read before, and things that I'm really interested in and really enjoy and feel like there needs to be a bit more love out there in the world for. So yeah, a lot of the time it's going to be quite positive things. I don't really want to be here ranting and raving about things. It's more, what have I enjoyed, what do I think other people would enjoy, and what do I want to shed a bit of light on, and also how can I join in the conversation, which is the booktube conversation. If anyone wants to join that conversation with me, please leave comments, please message. It would be fantastic to kind of join this community and kind of be a real active part in it. It won't just be books as well. I think I'd also really like to look at kind of movies. I've got a film degree, so I'd really have to look at some movies. I'm really passionate about film, also passionate about music and board games as well. So all that kind of thing, we definitely want to be talking to you guys about here, and I definitely want to be talking about it today. First of all, what do I read? I think that might be the best way to start. Mainly fantasy, postmodern contemporary fiction, speculative fiction, science fiction, kind of classics as well. I've got a quite broad gamut in kind of what I enjoy reading and what I enjoy consuming, so there's quite a bit of variety in there, but I'd say mainly sticking around like the fantasy, science fiction, contemporary modern fiction. Yeah, so that's what you're going to be finding on this channel. I think I'll also be doing some maybe video essays, some deep dives into certain authors. Some of them I want to talk to you about today. And yeah, I think that's kind of what this channel is going to be, is me talking about the books I love and joining that conversation. It'd also probably be good for you to know what I've been reading recently, so you've got a good idea of the kind of channel it's going to be as well. So what I'll do is I'll just start with what I've read this year, kind of fresh slate. You don't need to know what I read last year, what I read the year before. Fresh slate for 2024. What have I been reading since the start of the year? So I'll start off with MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios by Joanna Robinson, Dave Gonzalez and Gavin Edwards. This was really interesting. Obviously there's a lot of talk about this book and the MCU in general. I'm a big MCU fan. I'm not a massive reader of the comics, but I really enjoyed most of the movies, and I've been there, like I think Captain America or Thor was like the first one I saw at cinema, maybe even Iron Man 2 actually being the first one I saw at the cinema. So I've been on the journey with them, and yeah, it was an interesting book. I don't think it's quite as detailed as some people would have expected. I think it kind of washes over a lot of the history, or brushes over a lot of the history. A lot of people seem to have it out for Ike Perlmutter, which doesn't seem surprising, but I would say there's a lot of dirt about him in here, not too much about, the nitty gritty of what the rest of the people at Marvel Studios get up to, and especially knowing now that they've kind of hit a bit of a rough patch. I say a rough patch. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 I still thought was really good. Loki season 2 was still really good. So I don't think it's they've been terrible, but they've still been pretty good. But in terms of their quality control, it seems to have dipped, and that gets kind of brushed over. It's more at the end of the book here. So if you're looking for, what happened with the Marvels, which I actually quite enjoyed, but if you're looking for that kind of thing, this won't tell you that. But it is a good overall history of Marvel Studios since the start. So yeah, interesting read if you are interested in Marvel. The second book I've read this year was David Mitchell and the Thousand Autumns of Jacob de Zoet. This book is incredible. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous book, incredibly well written. It's some of the chapters in here, some of the scenes are just breathtaking. The style that David Mitchell brings to it, and this is, say, an author I'd really like to highlight more. I feel like, he's critically acclaimed. Obviously, he's had movies like Cloud Atlas being made about his work, but doesn't seem to get a lot of love on BookTube. Doesn't seem to, really get, maybe not just doesn't get the views, but one thing I would say is lots of people talk about Stephen King. They talk about even Marvel or Brandon Sanderson and the connected universes, and David Mitchell, all his books are connected. There's a huge connected universe there, and it's a really interesting connected universe as well. So definitely worth exploring. I really would love to do another video at some point, diving more into his work. I still need to read number 9 Dream to get myself fully up to speed with David Mitchell. That's the last one left, but every book I've read of his has been fantastic. So yeah, if you're interested, definitely give The Thousand Autumns of Jacob de Zoet a try. It's set kind of I think it's the end of the 1800s or start of the 1800s. End of 1700s, so start of the 1800s. Just outside of Nagasaki. It's about a Dutch trading company there. It's how they interact with the Japanese locals. It's just really interesting and kind of deeper than you think it's going to be. And especially if you've read, I said, like, this connected universe, if you've read the other books, so something like the Bone Clocks maybe, or even, again, as an example of the connected universe, you've got from Utopia Avenue, which is set in kind of 60s London about a guitar band, and the kind of guitarist in that is a descendant of Jacob de Zoet. So there's some really interesting elements there. And if you've read that one first, or Bone Clocks first, and you go into this, there's a lot more you're going to get out of this. Absolutely fine to read as a standalone, but you'll notice little just sentences, a way a character acts will start making a lot more sense to you. So that's, I highly recommend. That's a 5-star read. What else have I been reading? I've started on Mistborn with the Final Empire. So Brandon Sanderson, I've read Elantris, and I've read his Wheel of Time books. But this was, the one that everyone says, start here. The Mistborn, say, for the first trilogy, I know there's 2 separate eras of Mistborn, so it's kind of 2 different trilogies. Really enjoyed this. Maybe a little bit slow to start with, but kind of a really good fantasy heist kind of novel. Great characterization. Yeah, just really, really impressive, really good, and can't wait to read the next one, which is The Well of Ascension. So yeah, looking forward to that. So probably give that around like a 4-star read. I didn't quite hit the heights of some fantasy I've read, but still really good. Really enjoyed that. And lastly, the book I finished for this year was Popco by Scarlet Thomas. Now, Scarlet Thomas is, for me, a bit like David Mitchell, one of those authors. Well, David Mitchell probably has more critical acclaim. Scarlet Thomas does not get talked about enough, especially as in the UK kind of writing scene. I think she's fantastic. She's written, you may have heard of things like The End of Mr. Y or Our Tragic Universe. Popco is about a young woman, Alice Butler, who works for this massive toy company called Popco. She goes on this big retreat with them and starts getting like secret messages sent to her. And I won't really go into more than that, but it's really good. It's just the coding part of it with like these secret messages and how Scarlet explains the codes, really interesting. There's a really lovely kind of relationship in here, a grandparent and grandchild relationship, which I thought was really well done. With Scarlet Thomas, usually the familiar relationships are quite cold. So like with Oligarchy or Our Tragic Universe, you feel like the relationships are a little bit cold. Or maybe not Seed Collectors as a familiar relationship being cold. If you've read it, you know what I mean by that. But no, that was probably the heart of this book, was that relationship, and that was really well done. The overall plot, I think, lacked slightly, just got a bit muddled, or not maybe muddled, but bogged down, a bit slow. So kind of a 4-star read for me, as opposed to some of her other books, which I think are clear 5 stars, but that's really good as well. So that's kind of what I've read in 2024. I'm currently reading The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandra Dumas. I've been watching Emmy and Caroline Marie Reed's doing their Game of Tomes. I know this is the book for January, February. I don't think I'm going to finish this by the end of February. Just 438 pages in, got a long way to go, but really enjoying The Count of Monte Cristo. I'm just getting to the part which I'd say is like the myth building part for the Count. So yeah, really enjoying it. Can't recommend it till I finish it, but I'm enjoying it so far. And yeah, in terms of like those kind of other booktubers, so definitely Emmy, Daniel Green and Mike's book reviews, they're kind of the ones I watch and have really inspired me. So probably will nick some stuff from them, and just wanted to give them a shout out to say, like, you inspired me. That's why I started doing this, and really wanted to join in the conversation with you guys, because it looks like fun and it looks like a great kind of creative outlet. It's a way for me to talk about these books I'm reading, with maybe some more people who've also read them. I don't just want to talk about books on this channel. I think I'd also quite like to talk about films and talk about music as well. And so just as my last piece, I'm going to talk about a little bit of music. And I don't know if any of you know the record label like Secretly Canadian. So they have a website, Secretly Store, and on that they have a record of the month club, which I got for Christmas, where each month they send you a limited edition record that you can only get that kind of vinyl in that colour from that membership. So for this month it was Molly Lewis with On the Lips, and this was something really different for me. So Molly Lewis is a whistle artist or a whistle singer, and that's I don't think I've got another album by anyone who whistles. You might have heard like Molly Lewis, she's on the Barbie soundtrack I think, and this is more, I guess, like a jazz album or very light kind of lounge music, with Molly predominantly using her her whistling techniques to add to the music, or that become kind of forefront in the music, and it's lovely. It was a real surprise for me, and so I just kind of want to like shout out that if you're into some kind of just light listening or easy listening music to help you kind of relax, have one in the background, it's a gorgeous album to listen to. So with the Secretly Canadian Secretly Store, the version of this was a white vinyl, which you can't get elsewhere, so that was kind of cool. But really good album and highly recommend. So I think I'm going to leave it there for my first vlog. Embarrassingly, this is the second time I filmed it. The first time I filmed my introduction was really, really awkward with lots of ums, and I probably watched this back and realised I've done it all again. And I was kind of told it wasn't good enough to go out, but I think this time I wanted to have more of a focus, less off the cuff, know what I'm talking about, let you guys know what kind of things you can expect. If you'd like me to go into any more detail on any of the books that I kind of mentioned, that would be, I'd be more than happy to do that. Do let me know. But have a great week, and hopefully I'll see you on the next vlog. Thanks a lot.